Hi, my name is Linda Lee. I'm a professor at the University of British Columbia and a scientist at Arthritis Research Canada. FitViz is a web app that allows Fitbit users to see more information about their own physical activity. The idea was developed about 2 years ago by a team of scientists at UBC, Simon Fraser University, and Arthritis Research Canada, along with a really amazing group of patients and physical therapists. Most of the wearable trackers, like Fitbit, can synchronize online or with a mobile app, and the users can look at their number of steps, their amount of time spent in physical activities, and they can set goals and get a reward when the goals are met. But for people with a chronic condition or a disease like arthritis, they also want to know when they have done too much. Now, what makes it interesting is that the concept of doing too much changes depending on the severity of the disease, and that's when FitViz can help.
Prior to FitViz, when I looked at my Fitbit data, all I could really see was the total number of steps. And that's not particularly helpful for someone living with rheumatoid arthritis or any kind of inflammatory arthritis, as it doesn't really help us to see and work on the concept of pacing. What pacing means is spreading our activity out during the day and over the week rather than blitzing it all at once. So prior to FitViz, all I really saw was how many steps I did in a day. So I had a real tendency to overdo my activity, and then I would end up with more joint pain. So FitViz is particularly helpful in helping me to see when I've done activity and how much that activity is. So when I talk about when I do activity, what's often hard to discern without FitViz is knowing whether I was doing activity not often enough or maybe too often. Really the hardest part of living with this disease is figuring out how much is the right amount. So the bottom line, it's simple, it helps, and I love it.
What I really like about FitViz is that it has many layers. As we use it more, we start to understand it more, and it has more features. But at its core, really what it does is it captures the Fitbit data and revisualizes it in a really nice, user-friendly platform in which patients are able to see their day. And in that day, it gives them feedback for two different types of activity. The first is, when in their day are they getting periods of time in which they're moving for 10 minutes or more without a break, at a moderate intensity or higher. And this is the kind of activity that someone can do in their day that could be like a brisk walk or maybe some gardening, any of these lifestyle activities that allows them to meet physical activity guidelines. So that's very important feedback with people living with arthritis. But secondarily, it also provides information for patients when they're sitting too much. And really what it suggests is every hour we want people to stand up and move around just a little bit. Take a few steps, move around in their house, and that's going to be really helpful for their joints as well. So another unique feature about FitViz that I really like is that it provides an opportunity for me as a clinician to tailor this feedback for patients, to give them feedback for when the activity might be considered too hard for them, or an activity that might be just a little bit too intense for them, or that it may be too soon. So those parameters are something that as a clinician we can adjust and tailor it for the individual, because what might be too much for one patient is different than for another patient, and so it allows us to give them that individualized feedback, which is also really helpful. And the final thing that I really appreciate about FitViz is that it allows the clinician and patient to see the information together. And it really supports this meaningful conversation so that we both can see the data at the same time. The patient can explain the context of their behavior from day to day, and as a clinician I can maybe help them understand what maybe some of the changes in their physical activity might mean in terms of their symptoms and their relief. So it's really helpful for patients and clinicians to really work together to set some meaningful goals and some realistic expectations.
We created the FitViz application to help arthritis patients self-manage their disease. FitViz allows doctors and physiotherapists to work with their patients to review their past activity data and to formulate a new activity plan that suits the patient's needs. FitViz allows a person with arthritis to see if they are meeting physical activity goals. They can see their physical activity for a single day or view activity over multiple days in the calendar view. FitViz enables doctors and patients to work together on goal setting for physical activity. Clinicians and patients can collaboratively work together to review past progress and work together to set future goals.